The Decoy Bride is a pretty charming film. I only watched it for David Tennant, and I do think that David Tennant makes it better than it would be if, perhaps his character was played by an actor I'd never heard of. But also Sally Phillips is in it, which is, I absolutely love her. So there are definitely a few pull factors in terms of the cast. It stars Kelly Macdonald and Alice Eve as well, both of whom are great. This was released in 2011, directed by Sheree Folkson, and written by Neil Jaworski. And actually, the story is by Sally Phillips, which is brilliant because she's a fantastic comedic writer and comedic actress, of course. And the description from IMDb is as follows. When the world's media descend on the remote Scottish island where a Hollywood actress is attempting to get married, a local girl is hired as a decoy bride to put the paparazzi off the scent. I think that's a brilliant narrative, and I do have to say that it's very well executed from start to finish. It flows very well, the pacing is great, it's not ridiculously quick, but at the same time, it doesn't drag. It never drags, and that's something that I really appreciate, because even if it's not, there are scenes that I didn't find too funny, but there was always something in it that I found interesting, either the scenery, the acting, the dialogue. There was always something to kind of capture the imagination. I love the idea of there being a decoy bride, so the paparazzi think that that bride is actually this famous celebrity. And the fact that they just get this random local girl, obviously played by Kelly Macdonald. I say obviously, that sounded really offensive. Because it's set on a remote Scottish island, she obviously has she's got quite a strong Scottish accent. I mean, she's the voice of Merida, for goodness sake. She's the local girl who is the decoy bride to Alice Eve's character, Lara. And I think it works really well. I think it captures the essence of the kind of quaint Scottish village. It's very different to, I'm from Aberdeen, a very, very different kind of environment. And it's great to kind of see the village getting hyped up at this celebrity coming over. The paparazzi are going to cause a lot of problems, though. And it's good fun to kind of see whether or not the paparazzi will ever identify the decoy bride, what the actual wedding will turn out like. It's quite, heart-racing at times, because you think this is where they're going to get exposed. And if there is, if somebody's exposed as being a decoy bride, what on earth is that going to do to her reputation, to both, the famous actress's reputation and the decoy bride's? There's a lot at stake here. There's also David Tennant here, which is always a great thing. I love David Tennant, just end of sentence, really. But I love him in anything, but I think his performance here is great. He plays a kind of panicked race against time kind of role, and deeply ironic, I guess. And he's brilliant in this, and I always love David Tennant acting with a Scottish accent, because I think it's music to the ears, and I wish he did more of that. Absolutely brilliant character, really enjoyable film. As I said, David Tennant makes it that, there's something that little bit more extra special for me personally, because I am, deeply in love with him. Had he not been in it, it still would have been really enjoyable. Maybe not as great, whereas I'm very, very quick to recommend it nowadays, or as soon as I saw it. But if he wasn't in it, I think I'd give it maybe a 6, whereas I'm more inclined to give it a 6.5. He just gives it that little bit something extra. Scenery's great, setting's great, acting's great, narrative is very well executed, fantastic premise, really love it. Quite funny, not hysterical, but it had its moments where it was very funny. Definitely one I'd recommend. It was released in 2011. I think it'll still be entertaining in 10, 20 years' time. It's pretty special.